It is 3 in the morning on a swamp-warm Florida highway, the roadside mirage, and the most recognizable athlete on earth is slurring his words to a police dashcam. His eyes are leaden, his speech a slow, thick syrup of disorientation. Eldrick Taunt Woods does not know where he is, how he arrived there, or why his luxury sedan possesses 2 flat tires and fresh body damage. To the officers standing on that asphalt, he is not a mythological figure who rewritten the financial landscape of global sports. He is a public safety hazard failing a field sobriety test. The footage is raw, unedited, and deeply uncomfortable to witness. But this is not a simple story of a wealthy man's late-night indulgence. What the police and the public cannot yet see is that this precise moment of profound humiliation was actually the predictable mathematical endpoint of an entirely different, hidden catastrophe. To understand why his body was saturated with an extreme cocktail of prescription narcotics that night, we have to look past the mugshot and look at the terrifying corporate machine that constructed him. The architecture of absolute dominance. 20 years before that roadside arrest, Tiger Woods was not a man. He was a global economic engine. When he secured his historic victory at the 1997 Masters, he didn't just win a tournament. He fundamentally transformed golf from a country club pastime into a multi-billion-dollar television spectacle. His physical superiority was total, characterized by a violent, unhinged swing speed that older commentators predicted would eventually break his anatomy. He did not care. For over a decade, he maintained a psychological stranglehold on his competition so severe that rivals openly admitted to collapsing under the mere weight of his name on a leaderboard. He accumulated 14 major championships, $100 million endorsement portfolios, and an aura of absolute invincibility that extended far beyond the fairways. He was manicured, flawless, and curated by the most sophisticated public relations minds in the world. The corporate mythos insisted he was a flawless machine of pure will. Yet this very pristine, hyper-marketed reality was an unstable facade, hiding a volatile personal life that was quietly ticking toward a catastrophic detonation. And the spark that finally lit the fuse wasn't a bad golf swing, but a frantic phone call in the dead of winter. The Thanksgiving detonation. The illusion of perfection dissolved. The 2017 DUI arrest was merely the second crash. The first occurred on Thanksgiving night in 2009, outside his Windermere mansion. A low-speed collision with a fire hydrant and a neighbor's tree pulled back the curtain on a labyrinth of high-stakes infidelity and secret lives. Within days, the clean-cut corporate deity was replaced by a continuous parade of tabloid revelations, detailing an extensive string of extramarital affairs that alienated sponsors and shattered his carefully engineered public image. The world watched in fascination as an icon fell from grace in real time, forcing a highly publicized, agonizing public apology. He stepped away from the game, his marriage dissolved, and the corporate entity that once generated billions evaporated almost overnight. But while the public fixated on the scandalous details of his private life, an even more sinister crisis was developing within his bones, a physical deterioration so severe that it threatened to leave him permanently disabled, long before the police ever found him asleep at the wheel. The biomechanical price. The scandal had broken his reputation, but his own biology was breaking his body. That explosive, violent swing that had redefined the sport was now extracting its final, brutal tax. His left knee required 4 separate surgeries. His back became a war zone of ruptured discs and pinched nerves. By 2014, the man who once intimidated the world could barely extract himself from bed. He underwent multiple back operations, each one offering less relief than the last, culminating in a desperate, final resort spinal fusion surgery in early 2017. The pristine athlete who had commanded the world was now a medical patient living in chronic, unrelenting agony. He was trapped in a body that refused to cooperate, stripped of the only identity he had ever known. This profound physical isolation created an environment where survival required something far stronger than willpower. This brings us directly back to the dark alchemy of that May night on the Florida highway, revealing the hidden chemical truth behind his most public disgrace. The pharmacological abyss. The toxicology report from the 2017 arrest did not find alcohol. It uncovered an alarming chemical cocktail of Vicodin, Dilaudid, Xanax, Ambien, and THC. Tiger Woods wasn't partying. He was self-medicating a shattered spine just to function as a human being. The horrific mugshot that circulated globally, unshaven, bleary-eyed, completely defeated, seemed to signal the absolute end of an era. The media declared his career dead, writing elegies for a legacy that had dissolved into a pharmaceutical haze. He was 41 years old, legally compromised, physically broken, and ranked 1,199th in the world. It appeared to be the final chapter of a classic modern tragedy. Yet, history has a strange habit of turning its darkest moments into the foundation for something entirely terrifying, because the narrative did not stop at that jail cell. Instead, it set the stage for a final act so mathematically improbable that it would completely redefine the limits of human resilience. The improbable resurrection. In April 2019, less than 2 years after his mugshot flashed across global television screens, Tiger Woods stood on the 18th green at Augusta National. Against every medical prediction, every analytical model, and every shred of common sense, he captured his 5th Masters championship. The roaring crowd didn't just witness a sports victory, they witnessed a resurrection. The man who had been found, slumped over a steering wheel in the dark, had somehow climbed back to the absolute summit of human achievement. It was a moment of pure, unadulterated catharsis that seemed to permanently erase the stains of his past failures. But as he walked off that green, wrapped in the green jacket, a chilling realization settled over the sporting world. The very same obsessive, unyielding darkness that allowed him to survive the scandal, the surgeries, and the chemical abyss remains entirely active within him. He had beaten the odds once more, leaving the world to wonder what happens when a man who conquers everything finally runs out of miracles to perform. Thank you for watching.